Okay. Coach.
Yes, please.
Your third away game, you've conceded 9 goals on the away trips. What is actually the problem with Bolga All Stars?
If we talk about goal, that is why we play football. We play football because we want to score goals. And so I don't think 9 goals is something that will stop All Stars from progressing or from doing well. The game is played with a lot of rules and regulations. The game is played with tactics. The team that has been able to organize its tactics well takes the game. And that is why our boys, first half, you saw it, that the tactical play that we employed went well. Second half, the boys lost concentration. That brought about the 2 goals. That is not to say that they should be written off. There's no room for improvement. We have observed a lot of mistakes. It's an away match. There are a lot of things that is normally happening on the field. And what we have observed, I think when we go back, we'll be able to work towards it.
When you just started, you were saying that the game is played with rules, where one must be up to the task before he scores his goals and win the matches. In other words, is Bolga All Stars not in good shape to play away matches?
Oh, we are in good shape. We haven't yet found our rhythm. I think we have not so far gotten any away matches. But I think we have more away matches, and I think we can do better.
Coach, would you also say that the artificial surface played a bit of an advantage for the home team? Looking at from where you're coming from, you don't have the experience of using such a pitch to at least train or playing regularly on such a turf. Would you say it also played an advantage to the home side? Or you believe they won it because they were tactically better than your team?
I don't think the pitch was doesn't mean that if the team is from the north and we don't have absolute depth at the north, that is what we call it, an advantage to them. We have a lot of them elsewhere. The Pampan has got one. We trained there before we came here. And I think it is not any advantage for them. It's just that the second half, they came back and then they took their chances and they were able to score. If we had also taken our chances that we had in the first half, it would have been a different story.
But what?
Okay. Would you accept that Coach was still on tactics? Would you accept that Coach was better today?
Oh, if he has been able to put his tactics through and then the boys have understood him and they went through, that is all right. Yes, because we also went with tactics. It's not that the boys lost concentration over it. You saw the bad goal over there at the corner. It's rare for you to see a ball hit right from that place to the net. They will lose back. And so, if we went through the tactics and the boys work so well, perfection, definitely you will see the goals coming. And that is not to say that the boys didn't work, our boys didn't work well to our tactics. It's just that the chances came. That is what we have able to do.
For the second time, you mentioned concentration. And in football, we've always heard coaches, especially from our part of the world, say that my players lost concentration. That was why we conceded that goal. Why is it that often players lose concentration and coaches do not ensure that in their next games they do not lose concentration and continue to lose concentration in their games?
The game is played with speed. You realize that when they came back, came back, they increased the speed at which they were playing at the first half. Okay, and then they saw that when they were using the speed, it went on with them, but they could penetrate, and that is why they resulted to that. And so sometimes when things like this happen, who to mark who is always a problem. And that's why we're saying they will lose concentration. But if they were marking as they were doing at the first half, I don't think they would have created those chances for them to get those two. And that is why often we say they lose concentration. But if they are focused and they are supposed to mark whoever is going to space, then I don't think space will create somewhere for easy goals to be scored.
Coach, you've talked a lot about the negatives, especially from your team. You've talked a lot about the negatives, especially from your team. Would you also like to talk about the positive aspect of the way they play? Probably if there was any in the game that they played, if there is any positive you can take away from this game, especially from our side. Yes, especially from your side.
Yes, of course. Like I told you, we knew very well that we were coming to frustrate them, and then second half we create more spaces and then put the goal there. But you realize that first half, yes, we were able to it was able to put the work to perfection. When we came second half, we thought we could do a lot of runs, create more spaces behind it. But rather, they saw it and they wanted to use it wherever we created more empty space. That was where they were putting the balls. That's why I'm saying that everybody is working with his tactics. But if you're able to read the game very well, and then you think that there are more spaces created somewhere else, then you take advantage of that and you can punish them.
Coach, just the last one. When you concede in the first half, you were very compact. Your boys limited the spaces for Tema Youth. In the second half, you started the same way, but when you conceded, there was no reaction from your team. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but you continued to play the same style, the same approach, and there wasn't urgency. Going behind, what would you think you would have done to ensure that there was a positive reaction to get the equalizer early before the second goal came?
I don't know what you raised from, and you think that the boys didn't do anything. Because if you saw, we didn't open as we opened the second half. We wanted to make sure that we cancel, especially the first group, we cancel, and then we come to level 10 and then we see what will happen. And that is why they picked 2 goals. And if you look at the first goal, around 90th minute, and then the second goal came around 22nd minute. So you could see that they used advantage of 1 or 2 spaces that we created behind and punish us.
Okay.
Ibrahim, how does it feel to lose your third successive game away from home?
It's very bad. Losing our third game. It was not a bad game. We did our best. We were not able to make good use of our chances. They made good use of theirs.
Well, already are you feeling the heat from the Premier League? You think it's too big for Bolga All Stars?
No, it's not big. We are in to do our best. Inshallah, things will go well.
Personally, how will you rate your performance?
It's not bad, but there's still more reason to come. There's still more to come.
Any other question? Okay.